Hello and welcome to our UC Prediction Series. In this series, we speak to some of the industry's most forward-thinking minds and share with you what they're expecting to see in the market in 2024. If you want to stay ahead of your competitors, check out what they have to say, and remember to stay tuned for all the news and analysis on uctoday.com.
I'm Blair Pleasant, President and Principal Analyst of COMMfusion and co-founder of VC Strategies. 2024 is going to be all about AI co-pilots, assistants, companions, whatever they'll be called. And my prediction is that there's going to be lots of trial and error and lots of false starts for these tools. Businesses are going to be rushing out to deploy AI, and they're going to try out co-pilot assistant types of things for composing messages, getting caught up in meetings, getting meeting action items, and things like that. But they may or may not get the results that they want. Some people are going to be really successful and want to try more use cases and applications. But some people are going to get frustrated because it doesn't work the way that they expected, and they're just going to give up. There's going to be a lot of learning about what works and what doesn't work. And hopefully by 2025, we'll get it right.
Hi, I'm Craig Durr, Research Director at the Futurum Group and the lead analyst for our workplace collaboration practice area. I'm really excited to contribute two predictions to the UC Today predictions for 2024. Well, actually, one's a prediction and one's more of an ask of the UC industry. Let's start with that prediction. I think that the word of the year for 2024 is not going to be AI anymore, not going to be hybrid work, but it's going to be culture. See, I think what's taking place is that we're going to start transitioning where customer experience and employee experience really start to kind of cross over with unified communication platforms, and it becomes a hub of this activity. And the experiential part of this is going to become important, especially in that struggle to try and get employees back into the office or engaged in work, as well as how we reach out to customers. So look at the word culture being more important for you. And here's the key idea behind that. Culture is not words on the wall. Culture is actions. And the way I like to say it is that culture is not belief, it is behavior. And more importantly, it is group behavior. So what you think about is culture it's an iceberg. We're only starting to begin to explore the tips, the things that you can see, such as when people are in the office or how an executive acts. But it goes below that to group activity. That's things like, these are our beliefs. This is how we interact with customers. This is what we promise each other, when and where we're going to be meeting. We're going to be on time or not. Culture is going to be a really key idea in 2024 moving forward. Okay, and my second prediction, and again, this is a little bit more of an ask, is I am looking for and hoping that there's going to be a unification in the UC platforms around chat. Now think about it. We've already got some really great features like direct guest join. We've got the interop between Zoom and Teams, or Google Meet and Zoom. WebEx also has interoperability as well too. So we've broken down the barriers to help make moving from one UC platform to another when we're talking about the workload of meetings. But I work in multiple platforms, as I'm sure many of you do. And I really want to be able to take a chat thread that's occurring in Zoom, for example, and carry it over or talk to someone who actually is native to Teams as well. So what I'm predicting, i.e. asking for the UC industry, is a unification around chat, something that can allow us to continue to remove the friction so that we're more focused on productivity and enhancements to work, as opposed to stopping work and moving back and forth, those friction moments. My name's Craig Durr, and I hope these predictions do come true. Thanks.
One of my biggest predictions for 2024 in the collaboration industry is going to be equilibrium. After we've experienced a few years of the most extreme tug-of-war contests we've ever seen in the industry, I believe that toward the middle or the end of 2024, we'll finally achieve that balance. People will begin to realize that nobody is returning to anything anymore that they haven't already returned to, despite whatever incentives or threats or anything else that happens. Traditional office buildings are at about 65% of their past capacity, and that's probably about the best they're ever going to achieve at this point. While some individuals will be successful at all remote working, most of the rest of the knowledge workers will have some sort of flexible arrangement, because that seems to be the advantages for everybody. The advantages for companies, smaller office footprints, lower costs, happier employees. They're going to prove just too valuable for organizations to continue to fight that flexibility. The first firms to evolve and adapt to this new reality will, of course, be the most successful. We'll also see the emergence of, former downtown office buildings refit to serve other purposes, like housing and retail. And I realize that's not an inexpensive process, but it's inevitable. That's what's going to happen. And as people disperse out of the big cities and move, to smaller suburban areas, we're going to start to see that equilibrium. Everything will kind of balance out. So I think that's probably the biggest prediction in UC that I see coming for the middle to end of 2024.
Hi, my name's Dominic Black. I'm Director of Research at Cavell, and my prediction for 2024 is going to be the industry is going to see a huge rise in focus around mobile and FMC solutions. Now, it's not a new technology, FMC, but what we're seeing now is mobile technology has now developed to provide a far more sophisticated solution for customers, allowing the functional integration of UCaaS application with the cellular network. As a result of this, we've been significant growth in the use of mobile PBX services across Europe and North America. We're seeing over 1 million users in the US market now using a mobile-enabled cloud communication solution, and in Europe that's over 6.5 million. Over the next 5 years, we expect that to rise to 8.4 million in the US and over 14 million users in Europe. This is really being driven by some of the key carriers in it. So we've seen companies like AT&T launch WebEx Go, Team Phone Mobile, the Microsoft Teams mobile first solution, launched with Swisscom, Telia, BT, Deutsche Telekom across Europe. And in North America, companies like Rogers and Verizon have also launched Team Phone Mobile solutions as well. We also see carriers like Vodafone launching with Ring Central across Europe, bringing that mobile-first UCaaS environment to all their customers in multiple different countries. We also see Nordic providers like Destiny and Televox bringing their solutions, bring that mobile heritage down from Nordic markets to roll out across Europe as well. So, although it might not be the massive growth that we're seeing in 2024, I think FMC is going to be at the forefront of what everyone's looking at doing in this market. As enterprises look more and more to work remotely, businesses are trying to get their employees to use technologies to really enable them to work from home, from the office or on the road, mobile first and technologies, and really integrating the UCaaS experience with the mobile network is going to make that a much better experience from the employee and for their business as well. So that's my prediction for the future. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is John Arnold of J. Arnold & Associates, and I've got some predictions and trends to share with you for 2024. First, I'd like to say that last year for 2023 predictions, one in particular I mentioned has more or less unfolded, which is the consolidation that we kind of always see in this space. But two notable examples of that would be Mitel acquiring Unify and Ooma acquiring 2600 Hertz. Fewer players, but stronger players, and I'm sure there'll be more forms of consolidation going into 2024. A few other things to share going forward. I think the term contact center, the evolution of what we think about when we mean that is shifting kind of the way we think about it. And I think we're going to see more use of terminology like customer experience, customer engagement center or operations, because that's more accurately reflecting the way businesses interact and engage with customers. So I think that shift is going to be ongoing for a while, but I think we're at a point now where contact center as a concept is kind of undermining the value of what businesses are trying to do with customers. Also, we still see a lot of prem in the market for contact center, and that's a trend that will also continue for large segments of the contact center space in 2024. Yes, cloud momentum is strong, but I also think that there might be a little bit of a pushback against race to the cloud. And the reason I say that is the economy, first of all, yes, there are tightening conditions, higher interest rates, slowing demand, etc., need to cut costs. But the reality is that a lot of companies are realizing the further they go along the path of the cloud, the more expensive it's becoming. And as AI starts to kind of pick up the pace for adoption, it's not cheap, it's not free. And I think companies are going to be a little more selective about how much they spend on AI in particular, in terms of getting some decent return for it. An AI application I do expect to see more of in 2024 would be this idea of a personal digital assistant, right? That is kind of like our own little concierge secretary. That's basically our personal bot that will do things for us, that we give it commands either by voice or text to do things like schedule meetings, make calls, send documents along, all kinds of things like that. I think we're going to get further and further on that path. just because the AI is getting good enough and there's a lot more utility. So that's my take on what I'm seeing ahead for 2024, and we will all wait and see how the year unfolds. Again, John Arnold from J. Arnold and Associates.
Hi, this is Kerravala from ZK Research here, and I'm here with my UC Today 2024 prediction. Last year, my prediction was that hybrid work would be a disaster, and it was because most companies had no idea what they were doing. This year, I'm predicting, though, that we'll start to see some positive movement forward in hybrid work as many companies are actually starting to get this right. One of the things that's helping is that the vendor community has built out showcases where you can see the tech in action. Cisco's Penn 1 and Atlanta offices are fairly well known, as Cisco's done a tremendous amount of marketing around these two locations. But you can also see similar types of experience at Poly's headquarters in Palo Alto, as well as Worldwide Technology in New York and St. Louis, and some other locations as well. It appears, too, that most businesses have settled on workers coming in 2 to 3 days a week. Organizations that mandated full-time in office have wound up walking those mandates back and settled on 1 to 3 days a week, which most employees are actually okay with. So now we have great technology, we have the customer willingness to do it, we have places for people to see the tech in action, and lots of lessons learned from failed initiatives. These forces will come together and finally start to move us forward in hybrid work.
Hi everybody, Rob Scott here from UC Today. Now, hot on the heels of Zoom clips being released and Atlassian's billion-dollar acquisition of Loom, I predict we're going to see a continued resurgence of asynchronous video in 2024 as hybrid work challenges continue for enterprises. Now, of course, however, this is subject to UC vendors enabling async video features in their UC clients, which is something not so many vendors have right now. So expect to see more async video releases ongoing, especially now that AI is making async even more powerful and useful. This is my 2024 prediction for the unified communications market. Let's see what happens.
Hello, I'm Microsoft MVP Tom Morgan. What will 2024 bring? More AI. No prizes there, but where? More AI in meetings. Might this mean less meetings overall, with more ability for us to catch up and get insights? I hope so. More AI in customer service. I think this is going to be a really big growth area in 2024. Customers are expecting it. So if you run a customer services team, how are you going to address this in 24? More use of WebRTC in customer service solutions, things like click to call from web pages, talk to expert type solutions, and more convergence around a single UC vendor, resulting in the need, I think, for more integrations to UC solutions as companies seek to join together the best of breed applications. Am I right? Let's find out. Whatever 2024 looks like, I hope for you it's happy, healthy, and prosperous. And I look forward to talking UC with you in the new year.
Hi, I'm Melissa Swartz with Swartz Consulting. In 2024, I predict that artificial intelligence will remain the main trend in the industry. I expect to see language models that are geared towards specific industries such as finance, healthcare, insurance. And these language models will reduce the amount of training needed to make the tools effective. In addition, I think that we will see the gap widen between the companies who have made the effort already to make their back-end data accessible throughout their organization and companies that still have information silos. Those who have already built the foundation will have the ability to create a competitive advantage and create customer experiences that will set expectations for everyone.
3 things to expect from WebRTC in 2024. The first one, machine learning in media processing. We're going to see more of it this year. This time, there's going to be a focus on generative AI and LLMs. Why? Because that's the latest fashion. We're going to see it happening mainly in the media servers, but we are going to see it trickling towards the edge to the clients and the browsers as well. Second thing, Lyra and AV1. Lyra is the next AI voice codec in WebRTC, or at least the one that I predict will come there. And AV1, the latest and greatest video codec of all times so far. We're going to start seeing them trickling into WebRTC applications in production. Not in all use cases, not in all applications, but we're going to see newer use cases being used for them in production this year. Last but not least, web transport as a real alternative to WebRTC. We're going to start seeing that being done and used in live streaming and broadcasting scenarios, we're still not going to see that in video conferencing one, where you need bidirectional communications. This is still a few years ahead of us.
Hi, it's Dave Michaels from Talking Points. Prediction singular for 24. If I have to choose just one, I'm going to say there's going to be some consolidation in the Microsoft meetings room space. Microsoft has added a lot of vendors over the years, and in part that was to meet global demand as Teams has become so popular, and around the world they needed to add a lot of hardware vendors to meet the demand for the meeting room solution. But in late 22 they added Cisco, and then in 23 Cisco kind of built out the whole portfolio to support meeting rooms. And Cisco's got a lot of capacity and a strong brand and a strong sales force, and I think they're going to take a big chunk of that business. So that's going to put an extraordinary amount of pressure on some of the other vendors in the space. HP, Poly, they've got some bundling. They'll do, companies like that will do okay. But some of the companies that can't really do an impressive bundle will probably pull out of the space. Maybe we'll see some acquisitions, maybe some consolidation, but I think we're going to see the meeting room space get a little smaller in terms of vendors, not in terms of meeting rooms. That's my single prediction for 24.
Hi, I'm Rob Quickenden from Cisilion. I'm the CTO, and these are my tech predictions for 2024. I have 3 tech predictions in the UC space. So the first one is the continual rapid adoption and transformation of meeting rooms. So we're going to see this accelerate, I think, in 2024. We certainly haven't seen this slow down. It's accelerating faster than ever. We will see more organizations refurbish their meeting rooms, really try and encourage employees back to the office for the right reasons, to be with people. Therefore, we'll need more meeting spaces and more collaboration spaces with cameras to make sure that meetings are inclusive. I think we will see my second prediction is that we're also going to see a lot more AI in the meeting room technologies, and these will become available to everybody rather than for the premium SKUs that they are generally available for today. So things like meeting recap and those kind of things, the ability to summarize a meeting, automatically take actions, those things will become standard place. We've already started to see that now with Zoom. But I think we're going to see that across Cisco, and we're going to see that across Microsoft Teams as a standard offering, I believe, rather than premium, as I said before. It's also going to get smarter, so I think the language translation will get better. I think the recaps will happen in real time, rather than having to wait for those things to be recorded. And I think we'll also start to see business assistants playing more of a role in making the meeting inclusive. So if we're sharing content and there's somebody physically in the room and they can't see it, it will tell us. If there are participants in the meeting that haven't spoken or had their say or had their hand up and nobody's responded to those things, then I think we will see the AI assistants in the meetings actually make a lot more of an active role. We will see better voice identification, we'll see better video recognition and face recognition, so that it's much easier to track, particularly in a meeting room, who has spoken and who has taken an action. And the third thing I think we'll see is around the cloud voice space. So with the end of PSTN at the end of next year, I think we are going to see a huge amount of land grab taking place in the market. We are going to see prices drop for calling and minutes. We are going to see big acquisitions out there trying to get everybody to bring their minutes over to the core players. There is a predominant lack of competition really between those things. And I think that will also fuel the major UC providers who offer their own native calling plans to also drop their costs as well in order to try and protect their land space. So they're my 3 main predictions for 2024 in the UC and meeting spaces. Thank you. Happy New Year.